Okay.
Where did I look?
What?
Oh, right there.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another episode of Model Mukbang. Today I have
Renee Mittelstaedt.
So introduce yourself.
So like I said, my name is Renee. I'm from Ottawa, Canada. I recently launched a newsletter for models called The Pivot, which I'll be talking about later with Daphne.
Yes.
And today we will be eating some Jamaican food. My mom's family is from Jamaica. So
I'll show you the
chef's
food.
kiss.
Okay, was this yours?
Yeah.
So we have two meals.
Pack this to the brim.
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's very heavy. This will last you like 2 to 3 meals. So this is the stewed chicken with cabbage and plantains.
And this is?
This is the curry chicken with cabbage, plantains.
Okay, so we're gonna put this. We're gonna put this in one person portion.
We're gonna split up these meals so we both get to try them. So Daphne's gonna try a little bit of the stewed chicken and the plantains and the rice and peas. I'll have some of her curry chicken and plantains. And then I also bought, just because I could, some fried dumplings, which I don't know, you wouldn't normally eat it with this because this is a lot of food, but like I just wanted to buy it.
Who says models don't eat? So we're gonna split this and we'll be back and start the questions.
Ooh, napkins.
Oh yeah, definitely, because I'm going to spill something.
Be careful.
On these white sheets.
Don't get crazy. Here you go. Hands one napkin, keep the
Cheers.
rest.
Yeah. So I have some plantains in here, which plantain is one of my all-time favorite foods. I have a piece of, what is this, stewed chicken?
That's stewed chicken.
Were you about to take a sip?
Yeah.
We're supposed to cheers.
Stewed chicken,
Stewed chicken, and then the curry chicken, and I have a little bit of rice in there. And you have?
I have mostly stewed chicken in mine. Let me just open up this pineapple drink for you. Look at all that fog coming out. It's fancy.
This is probably, oh yeah. Wow.
It's very sweet, so just drink a little bit. Let's go, girl.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm so thirsty.
Oh my gosh. This is like bubblegum in a bottle.
It's so sweet, but I love it. Okay, so in mine I have stewed chicken. I have some curry chicken at the bottom. And I have plantains, rice and peas here, which is like red kidney beans and rice cooked with like coconut milk and all that other good stuff.
So my first question for you is, how did you get started as a model?
So I like to say I discovered myself. Insert old photo of me here and it'll really make you laugh.
Please send it to me.
Yeah. So honestly, a lot of like family friends, which are people who are always gonna say you're cute anyway, would tell me I should start modeling. So I actually took a like modeling camp at my agency in Ottawa and I had a lot of fun. I didn't take it very seriously. I just kind of treated it like every other camp. Like as soon as the 2 weeks is over, you'll never see me again.
Yeah.
But they kept calling my parents, telling me they wanted me to sign with them and like actually pursue it, and I never thought of it as like a real thing I could pursue because I grew up in like the suburbs of Ottawa. I didn't know anyone else has done it. It seems so like out of reach for me, but I signed with them. Like a year later I went to like a modeling convention. I met other agencies and other models throughout Canada and I really enjoyed it, and I still was only treating it kind of like a hobby. I didn't really think I was gonna make enough money to like live off of.
Yeah, and have a career.
Have a career until I signed with my Montreal agency and then eventually my New York agency. I took a gap year when I was 18 and I traveled to like Cape Town, Hamburg, Paris, and I really enjoyed it, but then I also had applied to McGill.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to reapply, so I made the decision to balance modeling university because at that point I realized, hey, I could really like make a career out of this and make money and also pay for my tuition, which is like even better.
So that's my next question is something that I find really cool about Renee is that she actually did go to university first. A lot of models like me, they'll finish high school and then go straight into modeling, whereas like you just said, you traveled for a little bit after high school and then went to university.
Yeah, exactly. So I took my gap year and then I started studying at McGill in 2012. So what I would do every semester, I would email my agencies my schedule. I would go through all my syllabi and figure out when the exams were, when the important quizzes were, and I sent them an email saying these are the days I cannot miss.
Yeah.
To everyone. Sometimes that wouldn't always work. They would still try to test me.
Agencies love to do that. There's this joke that
it's a theory.
Yeah,
it's a theory.
It's a hypothesis.
Yes.
So there's this thing, models can book out whenever we want to go on vacation, when we need a day off, blah, blah, blah. We just book out with the agency. And a lot of us have noticed that when you book out for a longer period of time, an agency somehow finds a job for you on that exact day. You've had this happen so many times.
I see you're booked out on like the 25th for like a family event, or you're going on vacation, but I have this job for you in the Bahamas. And I'm like, but it's such a real thing. I think most freelancers can agree with that, not just models. It's like you book a job as soon as you book time off. So that's what I would do.
100%.
My university was super old school and super strict, so you couldn't miss exams for work. You could only miss it if you had a doctor's note, basically, or maybe religious reasons. So it was really difficult, but I always managed to like figure it out. And I'd sometimes go as far as, you know, CC my booker on an email, because I would try to explain to the professors, like, this is helping me pay for my tuition. I can send you my schedule. I can send you the call sheet. I can CC my booker. They'd gladly speak with you. Because I always found the newer professors gave me a hard time because they were less familiar with like the different types of students in their classroom.
Yeah, that's interesting that you would let your bookers know and be that involved.
Yeah, because I just felt
awesome.
like I don't want to give them any reason to not let me do it.
Yeah, I think it's such a case-to-case thing.
Yeah.
Like, it really depends on the kind of student you are, how passionate you are,
It's
how much
true.
you want it. Because, you know, like if sorry, if you're a good student and you get all your work in on time and your grades show that, like you have a good GPA, then they should be more lenient with you, you know, having a photo shoot here and there. So nobody knew that you're a model except for your friends?
People knew I was modeling, but I feel like people kind of make up what that means in their head. So they didn't really have a full grasp of what I was doing, because I would go to class wearing like my McGill's hoodie, my hair in like a third day, like bun, probably brushed up the front, maybe it didn't.
Cute.
And like just I was like very, very regular. I'm still very regular, but I think people have like a perception in their head as to what a model looks like. And so I told them I was modeling. They obviously believed me, but I kind of didn't like fall into like a certain stereotype, I guess.
Typical model
but they
category.
could like kind of fit me into a box.
Yeah.
So people knew I was doing, like I was modeling, but they didn't know all, like the whole story.
I think it's like, it's kind of a weird thing to tell people. I still find it weird to tell people like, oh, I'm a model or whatever.
Yeah, I usually phrase it, which I didn't realize until my boyfriend brought it up, but I always say I work as a model. I never say I am a model.
Yeah, I always say I do modeling.
Because, you know,
like, we do our job, but we aren't our job.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It's funny because sometimes it feels like it's both your life and your work. It's kind of hard to separate the two, but I like try to do that as best I can, because then people like to obviously put you in a certain category. Even when I was in high school and I was working in Montreal quite often, I had a job at a grocery store, and one of my teachers was like, I don't know why you're working here if you're like going to Montreal for shoots, or you're working at like, I don't know, for local clients. I was like, because I can, like why couldn't I? Like I like to make money and I wanted to work there. But it's like people don't understand, like you can be more than one thing and like still be successful. Like you don't necessarily have to be put into a box to be understood.
That's such a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, because I'm just like, I'm pretty regular, but then I also work as a model.
You are like one of the most, and Renee and I are really good friends, so I've gotten to know her really well over the last
3 years.
3.5, 4 years.
Yeah, 3.5 years, yes.
You know, I think a lot of people have this idea of how a model is when they're not working, and you're such an example of someone who's still so normal, and I don't know, just you just do you know, you don't really like let that career become you.
Yeah, because I feel like it's easy to like let it get to your head,
100%.
but I feel like it's healthiest to just like kind of just stay true to yourself. I know this sounds so cliche and sounds easier but said than done, but I just feel like it just keeps you like healthier in your mind to not fall into that trap, because then you feel like you have to like, it's like a competition all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You need to like keep up with everyone. It's like, it doesn't have to be like that.
It doesn't. I think on set, like, yes, we're not acting and stuff, but we kind of are being a different version of ourselves at work all the time with our makeup and our hair and our clothes and stuff. So
yeah, it's like kind of how, you know, everybody, no matter your profession, you act a certain way when you're at work.
Yeah.
You act a certain way when you're alone. You act a certain way when you're with your friends and your family. So when I'm on set, you kind of have to like turn up the personality a little bit, I would say.
100%.
Not saying you have to be fake, but you need to be, you know, outgoing and personable and approachable, because it makes it more fun to work with you. So,
yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that, but when you have a desk job or a regular 9 to 5, you can have a bad day and it doesn't really affect, you know, your result. But for modeling, when you have a bad day, it affects the people you're working with, it affects the photos, it affects the energy in the studio.
Yeah.
You have to be having a good day and give people your 100% every single working day, which is a lot for anybody.
Yeah, and especially, I think the same is for you, but especially for me, you can tell when I'm not feeling amazing, like in my face. I was telling Daphne, I was shooting with a client a few weeks ago, and we were shooting outdoors. It was really, really cold. I wasn't having a bad day, but the weather was making me feel some type of way. And the photographer was like, you know, you're doing really great, but you look a little sad. And I was like, I'm freezing. So it's like, even like the environmental elements can like distract you from getting your job done properly. You need to pull yourself together. So I was like, okay, after lunch, I need to really like bang out these shots because I want it to look good. Yeah. But imagine you're having like just a horrible day that has nothing to do with the set or the location. It's like,
it's just a
you can't even explain it to the person, and you really have to like pull yourself together, because especially if it's a new client, you want to make a good impression, and everybody wants, at the end of the day, for the shot to look good, and the talent is very much dependent on that. And you want to get booked again. At the end of the day, they're not going to blame your agency. They're going to blame you if the pictures don't look great. So yeah, I think that's important. Yeah, I agree. So next thing that I want to talk to you about is your little side hustle slash just hustling. Well, hustle in general. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my pineapple drink because it's been a while. Cheers. So yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, in June, or end of June this year, I launched a newsletter called The Pivot. It is a semi-monthly newsletter for models who are looking to anticipate their future career pivot through internships, remote work, and job shop. Ooh. She pulled a Daphne. Anticipate their career pivot through job shadowing, internships, and remote work. So every other Friday, I send an email out to subscribers, and there'll be different work opportunities from our employer partners. So usually they're small businesses, usually like women-owned businesses, and they're looking for interns or remote interns. And I had earlier on an opportunity for job shadowing to learn how, you know, digital agency is run. So it was just kind of just to get people motivated and excited about pursuing their side hustle, their passions, because as being a model now, it's more important to be a multi-hyphenate than a model, because, you know, I've been to so many castings, and I've been coming to New York for so long. Yeah. More recently, like in the last few years, they ask you, what else are you working on? Like, what are you doing? And when I was in school, I'm like, well, I'm in university, so I'm a student and I'm a model. But then after I graduated, I was like, okay, what else am I doing? Like, I want to apply myself, especially because I have my degree and I want to use it. Like, I paid for it, so why not? And so I felt like it could be so much easier to find these flexible internships and remote jobs for other models who are in the same position as I am. This is a big theme within the modeling industry, and I think this has changed a lot over the past like maybe 5 years or so. Yeah. Where you used to be able to just be a model and that would be enough. But now it's at the point where you have to have a stable modeling career, you have to have a side hustle or a degree, or you have to, you know, you have to have something else. And it makes you valuable. It's like any other job. It's like, what's that one thing that makes you special? Yeah, because you stand out. Because we're all, I would say, great models. We all show up in time. We all get the job done. But it's like, who's going to be remembered? Are you going to be remembered for being great, plus you're doing something else, or you're just because you're great? Like, it just makes you so much more different and unique. You know Britt from Toronto? Yeah. Okay, so we have a mutual friend, Britt. She is super knowledgeable and super passionate about environmental issues. and she recently did a campaign with a client. Can't remember the name. You're just gonna have to go follow her.
Follow Britt.
Follow Britt.
Will be in the description box. Also follow Renee. Her Instagram is @thegirlmodel. Also in the description box.
Yes.
Continue.
And so she worked with a client that incorporated her passion for environmental issues.
That's amazing.
Because they had launched like a sustainable clothing line. And so it's just things like that that's gonna kind of put you ahead, and you'll end up doing something that you would never have imagined of doing.
Yeah,
like,
or you have a better shot at doing stuff. Like if you play a certain sport,
Oh my
you'll
God,
get
yes.
that. Earlier this year, I actually got a makeup job because they were like, oh, we see you doing YouTube videos with makeup, and we need someone who's comfortable being themselves on camera. So whether it's a side hustle or a talent or a hobby, like you want to be open about that stuff and speak about it, especially at your agency, I think. And just even on social media, like show that stuff, because you never know.
You never know
what's gonna come of it.
And it's like, why not pursue those things? Because personally, I can't speak for everybody. I don't think I'm gonna model forever. I know at some point it'll go from full-time to part-time to me wanting to make a transition, not in a negative way, but just to try something new. So it's like, why not start now, like kind of figuring out what you're interested in. So when you get to that point, I'm not saying it has to be like next year or in like 10 years, but whenever you feel it's right for you, that you feel ready.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I started the pivot, because I like wanted people to feel ready once they are ready to make that career pivot, that career move, and not feel stuck or like rushed and stressed out, because that can happen if you don't prepare.
Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk to you about is the age thing. We're not going to talk about like age specifically, but a lot of the questions that I get via Instagram are girls asking, is it too late to start when I'm 20? Is it too late to start when I'm 22? I think this is a misconception about the industry, because in the modeling industry, they used to want girls who were like 15, 16, 17, like that was their ripe time, which I can't even imagine, because thinking back to when I first came to New York, I was not ripe at all. I feel like I'm just becoming ripe now.
Yeah.
But Renee is in a place now where her career is better than ever. I feel like you're traveling a lot, you're working a lot, you have so many great clients, but you're also not like super, super, super young.
No.
So what do you have to say about that?
So it's such a real thing. So when I first started modeling, I would say to myself, or when people would ask me, like, how long do you see yourself modeling for? And I was like, probably to like my mid-20s. Like after that, like they're just too old. Such a 14-year-old thing to say. Such a 14-year-old girl thing to say. Like, what does that even mean? But it's not true. There's so many people I meet on set who are like 3, 4 years older than me, or even older than that, and shooting things for age groups that are probably younger than me.
Yeah.
Now that the industry is becoming more inclusive, no one's really looking at age kind of like as that repulsive factor where you're like, oh, she's this age, or like, make sure you don't tell them you're this many years old. It's not like that anymore, just because, you know, your face changes so much throughout your 20s and throughout being like a teenager. You're not going to be the same person. There's going to be so many different clients that will want you at different ages. Like when I was in my early 20s, no, even when I was a teenager, I wanted to do beauty all the time. But like usually if you look at most beauty images, it's more mature face, you know, defined cheekbones. And I saw a former booker of mine recently at casting, because she now works in casting, and she's known me since I was like 18, 19, and she's like, your face has changed so much, you know, you're totally different now, and I know you're working a lot, and it's because your face is changing and you're entering a totally different stage of your career.
And a different category within modeling.
Seriously, like, and there's, I'm telling you also, like, there's so many brands popping out of the woodwork, because everything's pretty much online now. Most things live online. And so it just allows everybody to kind of have a niche and have like consumer base and like an audience that will come to them and buy product, and so they'll need models to reflect who their audience is looking for. You know, you're stunting your career growth, if that's even a thing, but you're not allowing yourself to pursue it because of age. That's kind of a silly excuse. Like I say, it's worth going after. Obviously there's so many other elements that are involved, but if that's your only reason not to start,
don't let that hinder
your
something
progress.
that could possibly be really amazing.
Yeah.
And I also think like a lot of us when we're young, and I recognize this within myself, like I used to hate the fact that I had a baby face, and I would be so like disappointed and frustrated with myself not being able to get certain jobs or not be submitted for certain jobs. And I'm only starting to understand this within like the last year or two, that it's good to look young when you're young, because that means one, you'll look old at the appropriate time. You know what I mean? Not old, but mature. And your career will last so much longer than someone who looks mature when they're 19. I think the look within our industry that people want right now is the youthful but mature look.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if I would put a specific age on the look that they want in the industry right now, but that's how I would describe.
It's just like a certain face. Like next time you flip through a magazine, flip the pages to like the beauty images for the big beauty brands and kind of just like clock like what these faces look like. And
they definitely want like definition,
but that only comes with age.
But they still want youthful stuff.
Yeah. So that means like taking care of your skin, which means don't drink pineapple drink. Don't drink pineapple drink every day, guys. It's a treat. But it's like they want you to look youthful, but they want you to look mature in the way that is like, you know, defined cheekbones and like. It's
hard to describe.
I think it's easier for us to like kind of understand because when we go to castings, we see certain faces and we understand what they're kind of looking for.
Okay, guys. So that is gonna be it for this video. Don't forget to follow Renee. I will leave her Instagram in the description box below. Also, go and check out The Pivot. Her Instagram for The Pivot is ThePivotNY.
Yeah.
And go and subscribe to her newsletter. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.